Last video on equations, we're going to do sort of rearranging formula or equations or whatever. Okay, we're going to rearrange, I'm just going to look. There's no sort of you're just continuing what you've been doing before, but now you're just using purely letters. Okay, so I'll just go into an example and I'll say rearrange y equals mx plus c, making x the subject. Okay, I'll just explain what this means. Alright, and so what we'll do is what we've got this formula here, y equals mx plus c. And what we want to do is rearrange it, in other words change it so that you've got x equals something. That's what x is, x the subject. That means what we want is x is equal to what? We want to know what x is equal to. At the moment we know what y is equal to, but let's rearrange it so that we've got x equals. And you'll notice we've got no numbers here, we've got all letters, but don't freak out. All you need to do is just to keep applying the same rules as what you've done before. Okay, so let's just go through it one step at a time. Y equals mx plus c. Right, first thing is we want x the subject. So what I'm going to do is just change sides here. Okay, so remember this is an equal sign, so y is exactly the same as that. So it doesn't matter which order you write it in. I'm going to write this as mx plus c equals y. Okay, nothing changed. I've just switched sides here. Just because I want x on the left at the end, I want x equals something. So that just makes it easier for me. Okay, first thing to do, let's get rid of this plus c. That's the first thing to get rid of here. Okay, so let's move that c to the other side, and what do we get? Therefore, mx is equal to, what does plus c, what happens to plus c when we move it to the other side? It becomes minus c. So y minus c on that side. Okay, we've got rid of that. Next, we want to get rid of this m. How do we get rid of this m from this side? If we move it to the other side, then we get left with, therefore, x equals, this is m times x, or x times m. The way to get rid of timesing by m is to divide by m. So this is equal to y minus c divided by m, all like that. Okay. Remember that top line. You can put brackets around that if that helps. That makes it look a bit more clear. Okay, so that's your answer there. X is equal to that. You've rearranged it for x instead of y, and that's all you have to do. Let's look at a couple of other examples. I'll try and, there's a lot of classic formulas that you do, but let's just have a look at something like P equals 3x something like that, and we want to make, what should we make? Let's make m the subject. Okay, so once more, let's do this. M is the subject. So what we want to do is to is get rid of this 3, and then we want to get rid of the x. We want to be left with m. First thing I'm going to do is put m onto the left hand side. So I'm not even going to do anything. I'm just going to do this. 3x plus m is equal to p, just because I want m on that side. Let's get rid of this 3. Therefore, x plus m is equal to, what happens when 3 moves to the other side? This is times by 3. It's going to be divide by 3. So it'll be p over 3. And then we want just m the subject, not x. Don't get confused. We want m this time. So let's move this x over to the other side. Sorry, I promised myself I wasn't going to do that now. Move x to the other side. So this is a positive x here. When we move to the other side, it will become a negative x. So it will be p over 3 minus x, like that. And there's your answer. Okay? Beauty. One more. I want to do a bit slightly more complicated one. Let's do, what haven't we done yet? Let's do z. Z equals 2x plus mx, and I want to make x the subject. Okay, so this is a bit trickier here. Make x the subject. Now what you'll notice is that x is in two places here. You've got an x there, and you've got an x there. And so if you try to rearrange it, if you try to move things onto the other side, what will happen is that you'll go around in circles, because say you're looking at this x here, and so you move this stuff to the other side, and then you've got an x over there. It's like, oh, but I've got an x on both sides. What do I do? Blah blah blah. There's only one thing to do here, and you might groan when you hear it. But what we actually need to do is to get this, instead of having two x's in different locations, we want to get it into one location. And so what we can do to do that is to factorize. Let's take out x out of this side. Okay, let's factorize x out, and what you'll see is that you end up with x in only one spot, and then you can do something with it. So if we take x out of this, you're left with 2. If we take x out of this, you're left with m. And so you've got z is equal to x 2 plus m. Let's put the x on this side, because that makes it easier, at least for me. Maybe you don't care, but I like it on the left hand side. All I've done is swap sides, and now I want to get rid of this 2 plus m, and so x is equal to, this is x times 2 plus m. So to get rid of 2 plus m, I need to get rid of timesing by 2 plus m, I need to divide by 2 plus m. So the answer will be z over 2 plus m, and there's your answer. So if the prenumeral that you want is in more than one location, you kind of have to factorize. That's the only way out of it. Otherwise it gets very, very messy. Hope this all makes sense, and that's basically the end of equations. Enjoy.